Hello, everybody. My name is Olivier Blais. I'm very, very happy to be here and to talk to you about one amazing subject, how to make sure that your AI solution is generating benefits when it's in production. So first, how to put it in production, and B, how to make sure that the solution that you have designed is actually going to deliver something useful. So believe it or not, but this is not something that's uh, that's typical. This is something that's pretty rare to have a functional solution that generate benefits, and we'll talk about why it's a problem, what are the main drivers of that, and how to make it better. But first, let's review some success stories. So one usual suspect when we talk about AI, it's Facebook. I know that we're currently talking about Facebook for so many different reasons, not always the good one. But in terms of AI, Facebook has been a strong believer of that AI could help the company, and they have walked the talk. You see here at the right end of that picture, next to Mark Zuckerberg, this is Jan LeCun. Jan LeCun is also known as one of the grandfather of AI. And Jan, since he's with Facebook, has led a lot of great AI projects. And in fact, right now, if you're looking at any Facebook product, you will quickly see that AI is across the board. So how can AI be useful for Facebook? Everything that you see, every post that you see, every picture that you look at, every alert that you receive, every ads that you get, they're all prioritized and pushed to you using AI systems. So this is a key ingredient that make Facebook so attractive and so addictive for end users. And since Jan LeCun is there, and since AI is implemented in the Facebook platform, Facebook has grew 300% in the last couple of years. And so this is awesome what AI can do to help improving a platform. Here, when we continue looking at other usual suspects, for sure we'll talk about Google at some point. Google is also using for so many different products and services AI. Right now, let me talk to you about one key product that Google is using AI to generate additional benefit, and this is the ad network. Okay, so the ad placement product. Google is able to micro target end users. So here, in other words, announcers, so any companies who want to use Google ad network, they are able to push advertising, and then Google will find the people at the right people at the right time for the right ads. And this is their platform is so well done, and their AI is so precise that Google is best in class in what they do. And this is one of the reasons why they are able to do more than $150 million a year just in ad revenues. This is awesome, and Google is super good at it, and this is thanks to AI. If we go outside the technology first companies, we can also see a lot of very good success stories out there. One example is UPS. UPS, they're a logistic company. They specialize in last mile deliveries. They have been using AI in the past couple of months to optimize the deliveries. And you know what? They have been able to optimize so much their their logistic chain. They are now able to save more than $200 million a year in just because they know how to bundle in a smart way deliveries to reduce the number of deliveries that they need to do. And this is awesome because they keep their same level of business and their same subject SLAs, but they're able to reduce costs and gain efficiency. This is great. And this is also thanks to artificial intelligence and optimization technologies. So, you know, I'm talking about a lot of like big companies, what they've been able to do, what they've been able to accomplish in the past years using this technology. And, it makes me think, so what can your company do with AI if you're able, for instance, to know the right product to promote to the right person at the right time, a little bit like the Amazon recommendation engine. If you're able to push the right message to the right person, and you're able to make a personalized experience to end users to make your platform or your experiences more addictive, like what Facebook does. If you're able to create the content that is the most useful for the end users and generate more revenues, a little bit like what Netflix does with the Netflix original movies, for instance. If you're able to optimize your production and your logistic chain like UPS, you know what? Sky is the limit. You can do anything you want because there are some great success stories out there, and the technology already exists. So you know what? Campaign. We're able to do something. You can go back to your company and say, you know what? Let's make it happen. This is crazy, right? This is crazy because we have looked at some giants of tech, some giant companies, some very, very large companies who have invested $1 million in technology, innovation, and AI. That's what usually happens. Okay, 85% of projects of AI projects are not delivering the benefit that you're looking for. They're not even in production. So that is the real problem. The problem is that we're looking at huge companies, innovators, and if we want to try to replicate those companies, we'll fail. But there's hope here. Okay, my goal is not just to say, we're doomed. Thank you. Have a good one. There's hope. And let's think about this for a minute, but Google, Facebook, Netflix, Amazon, they all started from somewhere. And this is what we're going to look at. Okay, we're going to rethink our approach, and we're going to fix things and make sure that we're delivering the project in the right order and we're delivering project properly. So what are the main drivers for those fail? The one problem that we're facing is that we see too big. Here, this is Mount Everest. Okay, Mount Everest is the dream for a lot of people to hike and to get to the top of Mount Everest at some point in their life. And this is awesome. And this is really important to dream. I'm not saying that we should stop having visions and we should stop dreaming if we want to deliver something. What I'm saying is that we're seeing too big. So we're making abstraction of the complexity that it requires to hike the Mount Everest. Okay, if I give you a pair of sneakers and I say, you know what, hike the Mount Everest, you know what, I won't go, and if I go, I will probably not come back. Okay, so what we need to do instead we need to practice. We need to start. And how do you want to start? You start by climbing a smaller hill. Not even a mount, but maybe a mount. It depends what's your definition of like a mountain, a mount. But like a smaller, a smaller, a smaller project. Sorry about that. So, what does it mean from an AI standpoint? And I see this all the time. People, they come back to me and they say, you know what? Can you please automate my production chain? Whoa, wait a minute. Okay, let's think about this for a second, because this is probably impossible to just automate the supply chain in one time. Instead, what I can do is I can break it down in a lot of smaller projects. Okay, I'm able I'm able to say, you know what? To be able to automate a supply chain, I need to start scheduling the different work orders. So you can schedule work orders. You can automate some evaluation of the suppliers. You can optimize or automate some of the assembly steps and operations, predictive maintenance, the transportation. You know, there are so many things that you can do. Okay, and you need to look at them all individually, because you can master those projects, but if you try to boil the ocean in one time, it won't happen. Okay, so here, when you have broken down this big vision of yours, then this is where things start happening, is that you're able to focus on one thing. So let's say, for instance, in my supply chain, the most important problem that I currently have, it's because I'm struggling at identifying what's of good quality and what's bad quality. And this is what's the most painful for me, for the organization. And when you know this is where you can start focusing on that. This is a smaller project. You can deliver that quite quickly, and you can get benefit right now. Here, a real project a real example that I have for you is when I worked with Pratt & Whitney Canada. So Pratt & Whitney, it's a aircraft engine manufacturer. Okay, this is very, very complex. It's a big company, and just also to let you know that it's not because you're a big company that you necessarily are equipped to do AI. This is two different things. It's not the same. Before, I was talking about large, innovative companies who have invested a lot of money in AI, but the investment portion is important. Okay, what do you do when you're a big company and you have not started to invest in AI? You do exactly what I just said. So it's applicable for small companies and for big companies. So Pratt & Whitney Canada, they didn't know how to begin. And so what they did, this is what they did. So they tried to find the right opportunities for AI. How do? You look at the different departments that are required. So what do you need to do to be able to build and to support and to promote the aircraft engines to your customers and be profitable? So first, you need to design the products, you need to manufacture them, then need to maintain them. And you need to maintain and support your engines for almost 100 years once they are out there, because you need to have a secure engine. So you need to have engines that are very secure, and because it lasts for forever, an aircraft engine. So here, this was definitely one of the biggest opportunity for improvement using AI, was to help the aftermarket and the support department to know when an aircraft would need, when an aircraft engine would need maintenance event, and also whatever would be required for this event to be for this engine to be operational. So all the spare parts, the type of activities that would be required. Okay, so at first you explore the right opportunities, and what I just talked to you about, we found a clever way to do a very small proof of concept, 2 months. Okay, a very short proof of concept to demonstrate the benefit. And when you demonstrate the benefit, this is just so easier to get buy-in from stakeholders. And this is exactly the next step. So once you have the proof of concept out the door, you can then do a roadshow. You go from people to people, you present what you have been able to achieve, and you're able to get buy-in. And then when you get this buy-in, this is when the interesting happens. People just they just want to do more. They see the benefit, they see that it's useful, they start understanding this awesome technology. And this is how we've been able with Pratt & Whitney to define a portfolio of a lot of different projects. And we don't jump into this Mount Everest after a proof of concept. No, you still need to break down a very innovative vision in smaller increments, smaller projects, and then deliver them one by one still. Okay, we still need to practice. It takes a long time to be able to be at Google's level. And even Google, they break their project down. So what's the next problem that we were facing? We're skipping step. Okay, when I'm saying that we're skipping step, it's because we are thinking about the complexity instead of thinking about the business benefits. This is like, I can talk about it because I'm a data scientist and I'm also a super geek. Just so you know here, just kidding. I'm geek. I love complexity. Okay, this is good. I like building, graph neural networks and Bayesian neural networks and reinforcement learning. This is so interesting. Like, this is genuinely interesting because it's always good to play with new technology and see what it does. But you're so far from the point. The point being that the technology, it's only good if it allows companies to gain business benefit at the end of the day. Okay, it's great to play with technology, and it's great. The complexity is great because it's a pat on the back. I've been able to develop something complex, but other than that, the companies probably won't benefit from this. So here, the goal is all about finding simple solution to solve complex problems. And there's a joke in the data science world, and I really like it. So when you give a data science a choice between working on data quality for two weeks or working on a complex machine learning solution that is able to deal with messy data, usually data scientists, they will take the 1 year complex project. And this is why here the problem we have is we're taking the wrong choice. We're skipping step. Please clean your data and don't just say that you'll deal with so the solution will be able to deal with this. Okay. What do you do with complex edge cases? So if they are edge cases, you could just put them on the side and deal with them manually, a little bit like what you do. If a human is putting this on the side, why wouldn't you do that too with an AI solution? And finally, the apply research. Yoshua Bengio, another grandfather of AI. I'm super glad because he's from Montreal. He's in Montreal. He's representing Montreal on the worldwide scene. This is great. What he told the news the other days, a couple of weeks ago, is that he estimates that the current state of research would give companies about 15 years of technology to work with. 15 years. So if you think that you need to research and implement new technologies, I'm pretty sure that you're overcomplexifying your problem. Instead, the only research that you should do is you should research the right technologies that have been created already to use them for your project. Because at the end of the day, it's all about opportunity cost. What will you work on? Trying to increase the performance of an already good enough solution, or spend time on change management? This is a good question. You could be tempted to say, you know what, 82% accuracy rate, it's low, let's continue working on that, and like in a month we'll get to 84%. But what does it represent? At the end of the day, personally, if you ask me, I would take the change management, the investment in change management every day, and I'll be willing to accept a good enough solution, because we're often underestimating the effort that will be required for change management. So what would you like? A good enough solution that's used, or an awesome solution that is unused by the end users because they don't understand it? This is a reality. Usually what we're building is a black box that nobody understands. And then you're trying to say, you know what, use this, it's going to be 92% accurate. Yeah, but what does it even represent for the business, for the business users? They don't know. They need to understand, and they need to be part of the journey. So an example that I can give you, it's another project that's really interesting. So we've been, Moov AI has been working with the Montreal Transit Authority to predict the ridership in the metro station. So here, in less than 6 months, we've been able to work with a para-governmental entity. We've been able to predict ridership, create a system embedded in the STM's infrastructure. We've been able to generate prediction on their website and even on the television, on the screens in the metro stations. And we've been able to coach the team so that they're able to maintain the solution. So how did we do all of this in less than 6 months? It's because we took decisions. So here you have, even when you have a smaller mountain or hill, you have different strategies to hike it. You could hike you could hike the cliff and then have a very, very hard time and risk your life because you choose the wrong path. Or you could, walk in the forest, and then it will take you probably less time, and you'll be at the top of the mountain. So here with the Montreal Transit Authority, how we were able to achieve this is because we took the right path. So for instance, they were the newest metro, the newest train. They're the one that's called the Azure. Okay, they are built by Bombardier, and these metro stations, they have a lot of telemetry, including a weight platform. So the capability to weight every cars of a train, and based on this weight, we're able to estimate the ridership. So we could have said, you know what, we'll work on every trains, even the oldest trains, and with like image recognition or like a guy counting everybody in the metro station. But this is too complicated. Instead, we focused on only the newest technology. Why? Because this was good enough, And because we know that every other trains will be upgraded to this one eventually. So we have been able to predict everything that need to be predicted on the newest trains. And this is why we've been able to achieve the project scope in less than 6 month time frame. So what we talked about is being able to iterate, break down a very innovative vision, and then try to reduce the complexity. But this is not because you're trying to cut and you're trying to act into a very complex problem that you can stop along the way. The end justifies the mean. And I know I tweaked a little bit the definition. Usually we're using this for ethic purpose, but here I'm using it because I want to talk about the goal. So the ultimate goal is to reach the top. You want to reach the top, and to do so, you need to be careful, because whatever we talked about before, we only talked about the AI portion, this tiny orange portion. But AI is so much more. You have a model. So the model is the core. Okay, it's the algorithm. It's the statistics that happen, the prediction. But then how do you make sure that the prediction is able to be generated in real time? So what you need to have a data pipeline. You need to have a system that is stored, that is sitting on infrastructures. You need to be able to monitor the quality of the system, quality management. A lot of different things. You need a lot of software engineering to be able to deploy it. And this is not trivial. This is a big portion of the project. It's probably around 80% of your project will be right there, will be in the creation of the system that is around the machine learning portion. Okay. Not only this, so even when you develop the AI system, you need to validate the quality. So how do you make sure that your AI system generate good prediction? Have you validated that? Are people comfortable with those prediction or not? Are the prediction generated error free? Is it error prone? Are you sure that the system is going to work no matter what? Good, like Sunday scenarios, or when things happen. So those are all questions that you will need to answer in order to make sure that your solution is future proof. And at that point, this is when you will talk about deployment. Okay, this is really challenging, but this is so interesting. Everybody put their effort together, and one day, they make things happen, and it's deployed. It's in production. Okay, it's usable by the end users. This is great. However, the problem with AI is that it's not set it and forget it. It's it's something that needs to evolve over time. So as soon as an AI solution is deployed in production, it starts to degrade. So here, let me follow my lead. It's a little bit like SpaceX. You need to have a solution that's able to come back to Earth, and then you retrain it and you're redeploying it. Okay, this is an evolution strategy. It's also known as continuous integration, continuous deployment, CI/CD for the geek out there. And so if you don't have that, if you put all your effort and your resource into one deployment and you don't think about the evolution, you will be disappointed in like 3 weeks. Depending, like, I don't know, you can be disappointed right away, or like when something happened and then the trends out there have changed, so your solution is just useless. Okay, so In conclusion, it's important to avoid thinking that, okay, if let's hire some data scientists and let's buy some gear and I'll be able to hike the Mount Everest like this. No, that's not happening. So it needs training, it needs strategy, and you need to be able to be, you really need to be nimble and work on your methodologies. At the end of the day, it won't happen if you don't break down the vision into smaller increments. It won't happen if you don't select the simplest approach. And then after that, you iterate. You can add complexity, but after you've been able to get to the to get to the simplest approach. And it won't happen if you're not able to plan properly the deployment ahead of time. So at the end of the day, even if your vision is to hike the Mount Everest, you'll be able to get on top, but if you work smart. So thank you very much and have a good one.